This video will contain spoilers for the movie Obsession. Obviously, duh. The be careful what you wish for has always been a sentiment we've all probably heard. Like maybe the thing we want isn't always cut out to be. And it's pretty much like the saying the grass isn't always greener on the other side. We've all seen this trope probably in every genre, the be careful what you wish for. But there's always been kind of some sort of horror aspect or monkey's paw situation within this trope, which made me go on and think about how our scary movie genre is changing from slasher movies. And we all know these movies, the slasher movies, and I feel like it's starting to shift to a more focus on everyday horrors or possibilities that can really happen. Sure, sometimes there's still some supernatural ones, but for example, most women probably know the fear we have when walking back home or to our cars and it's dark. We all know the dangers we face for just existing as human beings, and we all have probably prepared for the worst case scenario, like our cars falling off bridges. But I also have anxiety, so that might just be a me thing. Anyway, some of horror has started to shift to women's horror, and by this I mean horror focused on women about real possibilities. Movies like Fresh or Barbarian kind of show this horror, some of them with a more supernatural aspect. But now we have Curry Baker's Obsession too, which logline basically is summed down to a socially awkward guy buys a wish granting toy and uses it to make his longtime crush fall in love with him. And while at first this is dreamy, it turns into a nightmare when her devotion spirals into obsession. But what is interesting for me is that this movie starts with Bear's obsession. It literally starts with us seeing how obsessed he is with Nikki and that he is too scared to tell her how he feels about her. And also, he's kind of dumb, okay? Because, dude, listen, you heard she lost her favorite crystal necklace and you don't get her a new one? You're ignoring the signals your other friend Sarah is giving you when it's so obvious that I caught that she was into you because you're so focused on Nikki. And that whole friend group, by the way, a mess, a freaking mess. Everyone has a crush on someone, everyone's screwing someone, everyone's jealous of someone, everyone's keeping a secret, which makes a good film because having those conflicts and those dramas keep things interesting in film. We love conflict in film, not in our everyday lives. But when Nicky confronts Bear about his feelings, he doesn't take advantage of the situation. He doesn't take his chance and tell her how he feels. He just says, I like you as a friend. We're really good friends, which he seems fine with, albeit sometimes it can be taken with a little bit of regret or just really truly being fine with it. Honestly, in interviews, it is discussed about the possibility of them being together if Bear actually had the guts to do something other than what he did about it. For me personally, I don't think they ever would have worked out for the long term, just because I think he really idolized a sense of being in a relationship with Nikki rather than wanting to be in a relationship because he loved her. It was more so he idolized this version of Nikki. So when he makes that wish, either unintentional or not, he still gets what he wants. He gets the Nikki that loves him, who loves him and is so over the moon about him. And what makes this truly scary for me is that that was never the real Nikki that he knew that fell for him. She never consented for any of this and was forced to change for him, to become in love with him in a way she didn't want because we are told in the beginning that she loves him like a brother and she is changed to love him more than a brother than anyone else in the whole entire world. And I know this isn't a hot new take. I'm not the most brilliant person in the world for coming up with this thing, but Bear is the villain. He is our protagonist, but he is still our villain. Bear, he wants Nikki's love to be true and real, but he only starts to regret his wish when it starts to affect him negatively. Because he really loved the aspect of having her and touching her and laughing and having more fun with her. Um, but when he is called out for taking advantage of Nikki, because people are like, "Hey, dude, it seems like she's mentally unwell and not in a mentally healthy space. Have you considered taking a step back?" That and people are calling him out for this. He's like, "Oh no, oh no, people are seeing me as a bad guy. I'm a nice guy, dudes." Um, but he still keeps going out there when she makes him that sandwich. And if you watch the movie, you know what that sandwich is made out of, and that would have been the final line for me. He stays with her when he comes out of his room to find the memorial she made for the cat. Sweet, but also pretty freaking creepy too. And he still wants to be with her even though she duct taped the door shut and then sit there all day, which, okay, okay, that's fine if you waited for me all day like an animal or a cat or a dog, because they do that. But still, what the mess she made. He didn't know that his wish was going to true or become real, is what some people say. And I'll give Bear that. Yes, maybe he didn't know his wish was going to really come true, but his action still speaks volumes. So first, he didn't start asking to cancel the wish. He asked to make edits to the wish. And then I'm gonna get meta here and go to the screenplay because we love reading screenplays because that is an art form, my friends. In the screenplay, in the script, that's probably not the final version. It literally has a scene where Bear is unfazed when the Nikki he knows comes out and is screaming and is scared of what's going on because he's like, this is just an inconvenience that you are aware of what's going on. Friends, consent is so important. Consent is important, and she is not able to consent here. She is under the influence of something or possessed, even though Curry Baker said he didn't want to play her as possessed. She is under the influence of something. She cannot give consent. And I will repeat this because I have to say it 3 times for it to stick. She cannot give consent. And when Nikki actually comes out of the state, and begs Bear for help, albeit in a way that is not YouTube friendly, saying, instead of doing something or saying something or anything, he asks her, "What's so bad with being with me?" Dude, really? Maybe he doesn't see this. But when he finally tries to fix this, finally tries to get out of the situation, it's too late. And when he finally takes those pills, he tries to back out. Which, okay, I get tough stuff, but he tries to back out, and he is only stopped when his own consent is taken away, which kind of complicates things in an outside sense. But I hope you catch what I'm throwing out here. And this is when we get the original Nikki back. But it's too late for all this. Her entire friend group is dead. She has lost months of her life. And the police are on their way. And they're probably going to put her in prison for the rest of her life. And I want Nikki to have a happy ending. But reality wise, we know she probably won't get it. She probably won't get a happy ending. And she'll be trapped in another prison for something she had no say in. Which makes me go back to this woman's horror gimmick because a while back there was this Bear in the Woods trend, and I know Curry Baker, you did not mean for this to happen. That Bear was supposed to be a cool nickname because his name is actually Baron, but Bear is literally the Bear in the Woods, and there was never no safe option for Nikki. Both options were the same, and Curry Baker, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna latch onto this because this is a nice parallelism, and I think that's the right word, right? Parallelism? Or is that just a math thing? I don't know. I just like watching movies and talking about them.